My best friend told me she wasn't ready for kids, then asked me to babysit her newborn. Jess and I had been best friends since middle school. We did everything together, shared clothes, finished each other's sentences, planned our futures sitting on her bedroom floor eating stolen snacks from the pantry. When we graduated high school, she was the one who convinced me to take that gap year to save money, instead of rushing into college debt. 3 years later, we were both working retail and sharing a tiny apartment. That's when things started getting weird. Jess began dating Tyler, this guy from her work who seemed okay but always made these little comments about how women should focus on family instead of careers. Red flag central, but I kept my mouth shut because Jess seemed happy. The weirdness started when Jess suddenly got obsessed with baby videos on social media. She'd show me cute TikToks of newborns and talk about how pure and innocent they were. But whenever I mentioned kids or asked if she wanted them someday, she'd get this panicked look and say, "I'm nowhere near ready for that responsibility." Kids are like having your life completely taken over. I thought she was just going through a phase until she started disappearing for doctor appointments she wouldn't explain. When I asked, she'd get defensive and change the subject to asking me about my dating life or complaining about work. We'd been friends for 8 years, and she'd never hidden anything from me before. Then one Tuesday morning in March, she didn't come home from Tyler's place like usual. She texted saying she was staying there a few extra days because she needed space to think. That was already strange, but what really threw me off was that she kept asking weird questions over text like, "Do you think I'd be a good mom?" And "What if someone had a baby but wasn't ready to take care of it?" On Friday, I got a call at 2 a.m. Jess was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Can you come pick me up? I'm at the hospital." I threw on clothes and drove there thinking she'd been in an accident. But when I found her in the maternity ward, holding a tiny baby wrapped in a pink blanket, everything clicked. "This is Emma," she said, not looking at me. "She's mine." The baby was beautiful, with dark hair and tiny fingers that gripped onto everything. But Jess looked terrified, like she was holding a bomb instead of her own daughter. "I didn't know how to tell you," she whispered. "Tyler kept saying we should give her up for adoption, but I couldn't do it. But I also don't know how to do this." She looked up at me with tears streaming down her face. "I'm not ready. I've never even held a baby before last night." I sat down next to her trying to process everything. My best friend had hidden an entire pregnancy from me. "Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped you figure this out." Because every time anyone mentioned kids, you saw how I reacted. I was barely keeping it together. And Tyler kept saying if I told people, they'd judge me for not being ready. She rocked Emma gently. "But I can't give her away. Look at her. The baby was perfect, sleeping peacefully despite the chaos around her." "So what do you want to do?" I asked. That's when Jess dropped the bombshell. "I need to ask you something huge, and you can totally say no." She took a shaky breath. "Could you watch Emma sometimes? Like, help me learn how to do this? I know you're good with kids from when you babysat the neighbors." I stared at her. "You want me to babysit your newborn because you're not ready for kids?" I know how it sounds, but I don't have anyone else. My mom would just take over completely, and Tyler's family thinks I should have given her up. You're the only person I trust. Looking at Emma, then at my best friend who was clearly overwhelmed and scared, I realized this wasn't about her not wanting the baby. She was just terrified of messing up. "Okay," I said, "but we're doing this together. I'm not just babysitting. I'm helping you learn." The next few months were intense. I'd come over after work and help with feeding, changing diapers, and figuring out why Emma was crying. Jess gradually got more confident, and Tyler actually stepped up once he saw how committed she was to keeping Emma.